Welcome back everyone. So one of our students came with a great question. He watched an old video from Paul Bocuse where he was making a chicken in cream and finished by making a sauce that resembled the velouté we've made last week, but using a different method. And I thought to answer that question, the best was to be making a video and talk about what kind of cook sits behind the chef. Now, Paul Bocuse did a lot of demonstration. I'm always fascinated to watch him on his own do a dish and to see the technique, his approach. And we're going to be discussing about this technique, make the recipe, and say a thing or two about Paul Bocuse and how he came to be in the style of chef that he was. Let's get started. So let's walk into the step of Paul Bocuse and see what we can learn from that recipe and understand, which is the fascinating thing, and what the process is in the mind of Paul Bocuse. So first off, when he makes a recipe, even a small one from home, one of the tricks is that he's using top-notch produce. Everything that you see here is very simple. At first sight, you got chicken, cream, wine, 1 carrot, a bouquet garni, shallots and butter. You know, it's not much, it's nothing extraordinary. But he's using a poulet de Bresse, a breast chicken, the most expensive, best quality chicken there is in France. The cream, the wine and the rest will be also top-notch quality. Vegetable from the garden, a great wine and a top quality cream. So this is the first thing he's doing that renders everything seamless and easy, because if you have amazing produce, you mix them together, well, you're going to have something already amazing at the end, even by not doing much. So what are we left with? A bit of extra flavor, some seasoning, and that's about it. So for the cooking here, the method is of choice that is he likes, Paul Bocuse, is poaching. He doesn't really believe into roasting. Anytime I'm seeing Paul Bocuse making a poultry, even a turkey for Christmas, it's poached. He doesn't roast anything. He says it takes too much time. It dries the meat. Why would you bother? Poaching allows you to cook a chicken in about 30 minutes time. And on top of that, you can have a sauce. So what he does, he takes the chicken, break it into 6 pieces. And instead of using a stock, he chop all the offcut and the carcasses in pieces, and we're going to be cooking these together in order to have extra taste, to mimic the stock, so that at the end, all what you need to do is to add some cream. It's going to have a beautiful chicken tasting sauce with the wine, and all what you need is a little bit of reduction. And you just add a touch of flavor, a bit of carrot for the sweetness, some shallot, a little bit of butter, and that's about it. Even the seasoning is another little fine line technique. He doesn't even bother to check in between the seasoning. For him, he's like saying, now, you season well at the beginning on both sides, nice amount of salt and pepper. Like this, you got the seasoning done. Usually at the end, it should be pretty much there. So if you're at home, of course, we're not going to use the breast chicken. For me here, I'm going to use a standard free-range chicken. I've got a good quality cream. A French wine, you can use a Chablis, a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc. I could not find a Sauvignon Blanc. Just a spring carrot, a few shallots. But we don't even need actually to cut anything. We're going to put this straight into the dish. We don't need to peel the garlic. It's going to go with sleeve into the dish. And then maybe we're going to cut the carrot in half. That's about it for the mise en place. And let's begin. Now, if you're looking for a fast recipe to prepare a chicken, this would be it. We're going to use plenty of butter. You'll find all the ingredients listed in our recipe that we'll put in the video description. And I'm going to wait for this to foam. My butter is ready. I've raised my heat because here we're going to be lightly coloring the chicken. Interestingly, we don't need to kind of brown anything. We're just going to put the pieces and just wait until we get a blonde kind of color. That's about it. That's all what we need. So you can use a high heat if you want, because there's plenty of meat in there. I'm going to have to go in batches here. So as you can see, I've turned my chicken. You see that color? And that's all we're going for. And even if it has a bit of that boiling effect, it's not a problem because we're poaching. So this is the genius about that technique. You don't care. Even there's a bit of juice in there. You got the butter. It starts to make a sauce and everybody's happy. Now, 2 or 3 minutes on each side is maximum, and then I'm going to take my offcut and same thing, I'm going to put my carcass in the butter and same thing for a few minutes. And I'm removing my pieces as I go. So I start with the main pieces, then when there is space I'm putting the carcasses, and just same here, just a few minutes, just to a bit of coloring, that's it. So after a few minutes, what do we have? We got a little bit of coloring in our pan. I've got my offcut and carcasses in the butter. And I'm gonna put back all of the chicken and mix everything together. And we're just gonna add the aromatics. Very simple. So let's have a look. What do we have? I've got the carcasses at the bottom. I've put my breast towards the top because they cook a little bit faster. But away from that, we're going to add all of the aromatics. I've got the carrot. I've added half a carrot. I've got a few onions that we can put here and there. And I'm going to add the bouquet garni, so the garlic in its leaf. And I've got the bouquet garni that I'm going to plunge in here. That's all it needs. When you're here, we're going to cover with some wine, that's 250 ml, see what we're gonna, and then half water as well. Now water is also something that Paul Bocuse mentioned a lot that really always makes me laugh a lot, is that he said do not use water from the tap because there's the chlor, that chlorine kind of taste, so he always recommends either water from a mineral kind of bottle, or if you have a well in your garden, but obviously you don't have this anymore. But what I'm using here is rainwater because we've got a water tank here, which is great. I've raised my heat a little bit to bring this to a simmer, and if you have a look at this, it is pure simplicity, but it really encapsulates everything. So you've got the chicken, we've got the wine, the water, the carrots, the shallot, the bouquet garni, and all of this flavor are going to diffuse everywhere through the liquid, the taste of the chicken, and we're going to cook this for 25 minutes covered on a simmer, on a very light boil, as if you were doing a stock. And this is pretty much it. When everything is going to be reducing, the taste is going to concentrate. You can have a lovely kind of chicken sauce, like a chicken broth with some floral notes, with the wine, of course, a typical French wine is going to go there, and the final touch is going to be adding the cream, and we're going to be done. It's such a simple recipe, but an efficient technique. I really like that. The liquid is simmering, and let me tell you already, it oozes wine flavor, the butter and everything is starting already to come together, but let's wait, let's be patient. Simmering, 25 minutes, with a lid on. You can put it partly covered if you want, but I'm going to put it on to make sure this cooks or steams the breast on here. If it starts to boil too much, you reduce the heat, okay? Let's go. And here we are, 25 minutes. I think 20 minutes is enough, and I think partly cover is best because I think there was a lot of steam staying there and the liquid did not reduce that much. So when we're already here, all what we're going to do is to take all the noble pieces of chicken, that means the breast, the thighs, the legs, and put this into a serving dish or another pan in that case. And we're going to leave behind simply the carcass, the aromatics that are broken, and we're going to reduce the whole lot. So make sure you grab everything. Okay. I'm going to discard the bouquet garni. And if you have the carrot, anything that looks good, you transfer it to the other pan. So you get the idea. A bit of a shallot here. I'm going to put this in there, discard the bouquet garni, and so on and so forth. So this is the result what I'm going to be using for my serving dish. And I'm taking a little bit of the juice, just for the bottom, so it's not dry. Okay, a little bit of over the cooking juices over. And I'm using a parchment paper. I'm going to keep this on the side while we make the sauce. For the sauce, no need to stress about anything, high heat, and it's all about reduction, reduction, and reduction. But you will note that we're going to extract as much flavor as we can from all the carcasses that are in there. Okay, so we bring this to the boil. So it's boiling, so out of curiosity, I'm going to try to see what the techniques bring. So equal amount of water and wine, the carcasses, everything. Do we have that effect of like stock flavor? Does it really taste like chicken? Do we have the flavors of the carrot and the onions? And spot on. It's seasoned, and there's just right enough salt and pepper. You have the taste of wine. It definitely tastes strongly like chicken, as if you would have used a stock, and that is without reduction. So I can say from here, the technique works. Not only it works great, it tastes great, and it's just going to get better by now adding the cream. The cream can be up to 400 grams. So imagine that's a pot of cream. Because the recipe is called poulet à la crème, so a bit of cream. Okay. All right, and we're going to mix the whole lot. High heat, boiling, and we reduce this for a few minutes. Now this, sorry for the steam, is the boiling you need when you have cream and lots of liquid like this. Don't be scared to boil the heck out of this to reduce it, otherwise you're going to spend your entire day waiting for the reduction to happen. So a pretty high heat, and you boil the whole lot. That's the only way to go fast and reduce fast. Bit of an audio issue here, so I'm doing a voiceover. The last technique we're going to do here when the sauce is reduced is to use egg yolks to thicken the sauce. 2 egg yolks, as you see here, that I'm going to be mixing with a little bit of that sauce in here. So you take the cream, put this in the egg yolk, You mix the whole lot together with a whisk or something else, and then you're going to be adding this back into the sauce. Now this is an alternative technique than the one we've used for the velouté that use a roux, and that allows you to really thicken the sauce a little bit the same way as you would do a custard. It's very simple but efficient. So you put the mixture back in the pan, you mix, and just make sure that when you do this, the heat has to be absolutely off. You cannot boil the sauce as if you were making a sweet custard, and it would curdle. So here, no heat at all. You use the remaining heat in the pan, a small whisk like this, just for a minute or two, and the sauce will thicken and be ready. So this is the result. When the sauce has been boiled, or what you're gonna do is press the whole lot through a sieve and pour that over the chicken that you have in your serving dish or in the other pan. So you can use a fine mesh sieve or a standard sieve, and make sure you press down the chicken and the garnish to extract as much juice as we can. But away from that, the dish is ready. Let's taste. And there we have it. I've poured my sauce over and I really pressed down the sauce to gather all the juices and everything. And this is an absolutely great little sauce. I've actually already tried it a little bit, but it's absolutely perfectly balanced. The taste of the cream, the chicken, the wine is there, and the aromatic just really add what it needs to make this really a nice dish. It's a complement of taste. It doesn't become like a big carrot stew or shallot stew. And bonus, there's no mushroom if you don't like mushroom. So I'll have another piece on here because I was just so hungry. But the chicken is perfectly cooked and it's super moist, you know, having been kind of poached like that. And look at that sauce. Look at that sauce. This is 35 minutes. Honestly, this is good. With a, you know, a capital letter. I just can't really believe it. Is this possible? It's incredible. Honestly, it is bluffing. And there we have it. This is the chicken and cream from Paul Bocuse, a combination of simplicity, know-how, the knowledge of ingredients, and culinary techniques. At first, it looks very simple. This is extremely quick to cook, 35 minutes from beginning to end. And what I'm seeing here is the mastery and use of just all the things that work. It is simply bluffing. If you make this at home, you have guests and you're not going to tell them what's a simple recipe I found online, they're going to think you've spent, honestly, hours. I could see this in a restaurant. Easy. Absolutely easy. Or what I would say to finish here, this is a strike of genius. I did not expect something that good. Even though I know it was going to be good, but that good with the few ingredients that are in there, I don't even know how is it possible. It's just to say that French cooking, you know what, it does not always have to be complicated. And I will leave you with that thought and that picture, and I'll see you next time for another video on the French Cooking Academy. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care all. Bye-bye.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry.